Oh, look, at Seven Plaza and at Crafty by Tony are doing a collaboration for the month of April, she said. She also said, you really don't need to get into anything else. You have enough going on. Then she said, oh, look at all the fun stuff everybody is making. I am going to participate. I can't help it. Everybody is posting the cutest things, and I just find that this is such a fun collaboration between Margaret and Tony that I just can't not do it. So we're going to start, and I'm going to start today with D, which is the letter for today. And if I have a chance to go back, since Sundays are free, and do A, B, and C, I will. If not, I am just going to start with D and go forward. So basically, the challenge is every day in the month of April, you're to do something that has to do with junk journaling that starts with the letter of the alphabet that corresponds with the day. I have not had time to print out the calendar yet, but there is a calendar available in both of their coffee shops that you can go and print out, and so you can see which letter is for which day. They also have a page that will give you ideas for each day in case you can't think of something, or you need a starting point for that particular letter. The idea is to share different methods for junk journaling, and just to kind of bring the group together and share ideas about every aspect of junk journaling, really, from the glues you use to your thought processes to the found objects that you use, whatever that may be. The only rule that they really have is that you stick to the letter on the particular day that is on the calendar. So, like I said, I'm going to start with D, and if I have time, I will go back on Sundays, which are free days, and try to catch up on A, B, and C. So, I started by making a list of everything that I could think of D-wise, both in materials to be used, processes, everything that I could think of. One word that I did not put down here that I think is important is design. And that's where we all kind of start, isn't it? With design. The first thing that we think of when we're going to lay out a particular journal or a particular page, what design do we want to use? What theme are we going to come up with? So for this particular make, I am making it to go in my design team project for Sweet Pea Curiosities, and the kit that I am using for that, which is a digital, is Summer on the Farm. So I've kind of based what I'm going to do today on that particular design element. And I'm going to be making a pocket and a journal card based on that. Here we go. So, The first thing that I am going to do is decoupage a digital, and this digital in particular is a multiplication card, or math card, arithmetic card, whatever you want to call it. And it is a digital, and I believe this one is my Porch Prince. And I'm going to do a decoupage on here, kind of a collage as well, of different elements to kind of give me a really cute background for my card. Now, I have pulled out a dictionary page. Dictionary pages are great to use in journals because usually the paper is thin, and so it doesn't cause a lot of dimension, another D word. And also because it has a lot of words on one page, plus some cute little illustrations and things like that. And so it's really a good source of getting some really vintage looking background papers, and you can find them fairly easy at thrift stores or used bookstores for, you know, not a lot of money. So I kind of want to get it so that I can see that cow. I don't know if that's going to be possible because I don't want to cover up all the numbers because, oh, I didn't write that down. We all like to use digits, don't we, in our journals. So that's another D, digits. So I'm going to take a piece of dictionary. I'm going to take a die cut, which happens to be daisies. I'm going to put that on there. And I'm also going to use some doily, another good D, and also readily available to add some dimension to your makes. Where do I want to put this? And this is a digital that's in Sweet Pea Curiosities kit. So I know I want them there. So maybe we'll put the doily over here. And I will distress this, another D, before I glue it all down. Something like that, I think. Yeah. I think that looks pretty cute. And I do have a tab cut out for the top. And we're going to put a dangle on that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now for the decoupage. I prefer to use, actually, let me distress this first. We'll do the distressing. But I prefer to use matte gel medium for my collage work because it is totally matte. If you don't care if it's matte or not, then you can use Mod Podge. But I have found that even the Mod Podge, even though if you get the matte one, it still has a bit of a shine to it, where matte gel medium is totally flat. Even Tim Holtz's collage medium, which I do like, but there again, it does have some shine to it. Now, I will use it in certain occasions, on certain occasions, if that's the look I'm going for. But probably 9 times out of 10, I'm going to choose to use the matte gel medium. Okay, I want to ink around them. The purpose of inking around the digitals is to get that little white edge in case you missed something when you were fussy cutting around it. Or if you kiss cut it and you still got a little bit of a white edge all the way around, you can ink it and that white edge will blend in better and not look like you just cut something, you know, out of a magazine or whatever and stuck it down on a piece of paper. Be careful when you're fussy cutting people that you're not gonna put it on their face. A lot of times I'll ink from the back like that so that I can get it down in the smaller cracks without messing up their faces. This particular die cut is from 49 in Market. So we're going to put it down like that. And where do we have the cow? I just want to hold it so I can determine where I need the cow. He doesn't have to show all the way, because I do want some of the numbers to show, or at least part of the number. So I didn't even start off by saying hi. I'm glad you're here, which of course I am. I hope you guys are having fun if you're doing this challenge. It looks like a good one. Now, if you do decide to pick up and do it, be sure and use the hashtag for YouTube or for Instagram or Facebook or wherever you may post, so that everybody can see what you're doing, and especially so that Margaret and Tony can see what you're doing, and see that everybody is making wonderful and fabulous things. And I don't know why I can't think as I'm speaking. It's like I've never made a video before. Alright, so I'm going to ink around this. And I don't want to, this one in particular is not coffee stained or anything. So I think what I'm going to do is get my little splatter stamp and just kind of put some little dots on it, just to age it up and distress it a little more. And then I'm going to put it, now I don't want it to hang over the edge. Normally I would be okay with it hanging over the edge, but this card is barely going to fit in my pocket. And so I want to make sure that I'm getting everything on there flush with the edge of the card, other than, of course, the tag at the top, tab at the top, I should say. So we're going to put that on there. Oops. No, I got glue on that. Just not pushing it down well enough. There we go. Now our little people can go on there, and then once I get everything down on here, I'm going to go over it with the matte gel. Now, I could have put the matte gel down first as well on the bottom, but I think it works just as well. Unless I'm doing something like a tissue paper or something like that, a napkin. Usually I use the glue stick on the bottom and then go over the top with the matte gel. It is hot here today, guys. We went from sweatpants to shorts in 0.5 seconds. I think it's supposed to be like 87 degrees today. And then next week, they're saying we're going to be back in the 30s. So, who knows? It's such a crazy time of year. Where I live, you never know what you're going to get. You might as well just wake up and look out the window and see what the weather is. And you'd be in pretty good shape. Now, I also have this is an amazing condition considering it's from the 1930s, but it is a, like a ticket for a grocery store, or not a grocery store per se, but a, like a merchandise store where you could, when people worked in factories and mines, this is how they got paid, with tickets. And then they could take these tickets to the stores, and that's how they would purchase their goods. Their grains, their food items, you know, like big bags of food items, their millinery stuff, pretty much everything. And so this was their method, and that allowed the factories or the mines to keep most of the money that they had paid their people with, because they owned the stores as well. So they would give you these tickets and you would go in and purchase stuff from the store, which they already owned. So I think I'm going to put it right here. Do you want it right there? I know I'm going to have to put, yeah, I think I want it right there, because I'm going to put my tab right there. So this will be the last piece to put down, and then I'll put the decoupage medium, or the gel medium, over everything. I don't know if you guys watched my, oh, I forgot the daisies. Were you yelling at me? Let's see if I can get this back up. Oh my goodness. Luckily, I did use gel stick on that. Or glue stick. Okay, I think we can get it down there. Now for this, I'm going to use art to get it down originally, because I've got those little bitty skinny lines. I could have, if I'd remembered I was going to put them down there, I could have used the gel medium. Okay. Press that down. Now that one, I don't care if it does hang over because it's at the top of my pocket. It's not going to be that high. All right, so now let's do the matte gel. I'm glad I looked over there and saw that before that got any drier, or we would have had a real mess. Okay, so for this, I just have a paintbrush, and I'm just going to just take the paintbrush. I do want to kind of ink that one. It's really white, and so is that one. And I think I'll distress these edges a little bit too with sandpaper. And I'll get their heads stuck back down when I start putting the gel medium on there. Okay. So I just use the golden regular. It's a heavy body. I like the consistency of it because it does give it just a little bit of texture. And I prefer that look, but there is a lighter one that is thinner that you can use that doesn't give, you know, it's not as textured when you put it on. It doesn't show brush strokes as much, I guess, is the point I'm trying to get across. I'm not getting any of my points across very well today, I don't think. Maybe the heat is affecting my brain activity. That could be. I just can't ever be satisfied with the weather. It's like, it's too hot, it's too cold. I just want it to be like perfect all the time. It's not too much to ask, is it? Okay. We're just going to coat this once. Make sure we get everything glued down. Now, the one thing that you have to be careful with if you're using digitals and your printer ink is not you're using just the inkjet printer. If you get it too wet, then your digital is going to start running. So that's another reason that I like the heavy body, because since it's not as thin, it doesn't contain as much water, and it will prevent that from running. Okay, so there's our card. So we're going to set it to the side. Actually, I can go ahead and put my tab on there. And I'm going to put a grommet in it so that we can put a dangle on there. And I don't know if you guys watched my video yesterday where the piece of lace disappeared and I couldn't find it anywhere. Walked in the craft room this morning and it was laying right there in the floor under my chair. The same place that I looked for it 3 times during that video yesterday. Is that not how it always is? And I was flabbergasted. I was like, how did you miss that when you got up and stood up and moved your chair and everything else? I'm going to spray this brush with water and wrap it up in this paper towel until I can take it downstairs and wash it. Okay. Now, let's put a grommet up there. Grab my crocodile here. And then we'll set it to the side and let that matte gel dry. There's not a lot to do on the pocket, but we're going to find a place for it in the journal and go ahead and get it glued down. Okay, so there's our card. So we'll set it up here. All right, for my pocket, I have a denim pocket, literally, from a pair of baby blue jeans that I just got at the thrift store. Thrift stores are a great place to go through and find stuff for journals. Don't look in the obvious places. I mean, obviously go down the book aisle, in the stationery aisle, office supply aisle, you know, all that. But also look outside the box. I got a couple of pair of baby overalls quite a while ago, actually, because I wanted the little hook things that are at the top of overalls and the straps to make belly bands out of, which I did, and they turned out adorable. But I don't have any more of the straps, but I did save the pockets. So I have this pocket. I cut the back of it off so I could get it as thin as possible. And this is what's going to be our pocket inside of the journal. Now, what I want to do with that is I want to create a little dimensional cluster on here. Just to kind of jazz it up a little bit. And I think I might want to rough it up around the edges a little bit more. So if I take, I don't know if my scissors, those won't. Let me try my little ones here, they're sharper. You could probably also do this with a, like a box cutter. Would probably be the best bet. I just want to get some fraying. And that's how I did these little holes, is I took a box cutter and just put it down on my cutting mat and, you know, made slashes. You can also sand it with your sanding disc and it will fade out, especially if you have a pair of that are not very worn. So, you know, don't always think you have to find the ones that are really worn, because you can make them look worn very easily by just sanding over the seams like I'm doing here. So yeah, I mean, I think I got these for a couple bucks a piece, the overalls, and you know, well worth the material that I'm getting out of them, because you've got, even though they're infant size, you've got quite a few pieces that you can use in your journal that are big enough. So I have, this is the lace that I could not find yesterday, so we're going to use that today. It was a much bigger piece, and I just ripped a piece off of it. This is from a book spine. It just gives some dimension. I've got a button. I've got this little fabric flower that has some little pink roses on it. We're going to put that, and then I think to tie it all in, I'm going to use another piece of jewelry. And I'm going to ink that up. I love putting denim into journals, either for covers or pockets like this, the belly bands, like I said, anything like that. I really like the way that it looks. The only thing you have to remember is it is going to add bulk, and so you have to take that into consideration when you're doing your page layouts, that you are going to have some bulk. I'm going to take a small piece of this waxed thread and put in that button. I normally wouldn't use the waxed thread for this, but I like this color with this button, so that's what we're going to go with. Plus, it's really easily, I'm going to say that and I won't be able to get it in here. It's really easy to manipulate in and out the holes because it's got the wax coating, so it's stiff. This would probably be a lot easier if I wasn't trying to film, of course. Alright, and then back through this one. And then I'm just going to put a double knot in there, just so it has the appearance of being sewn. And you, of course, could sew it if you wanted to. For that matter, you could sew the pocket on if you wanted to. I'm not going to. I'm going to be gluing it on. But I know a lot of you like to use your sewing machine. I am not one of those. I do on occasion, but it's not going to be my go-to thing. Alright, and I have a rusty pin as well. Alright, so let's start gluing. Oops, sorry about that. Let's start gluing all that down. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. Wipe that nozzle off where it's been volcano glue. Oh, I gotta put this pin on there before. This pin has been rusted, and so it is not going to be very slick going through there. And for those of you that don't know how to rust pins, it's very easy. Just get yourself a glass jar, preferably with a lid. And you want to put some salt. I use kosher salt because that's what we have. Peroxide and vinegar in a jar, and then throw in your whatever you want to rust, whether it be paper clips or pins, or I've even done binder clips, bulldog clamps, whatever you call them. Oh, that's something else you could use, is a bulldog clamp. We may have to put one of those on there. Oh no, we're doing D. I'll have to remember that if I go back and do B, won't I? Okay, so there is my little dimensional cluster. And I'm thinking about putting another couple of grommets. Just to kind of tie in the one at the top, and also because, you know, blue jeans usually have some kind of grommet on the pockets or somewhere on them, and it'll just add another little interesting thing. So let's see if I can get this to poke a hole. I'm going to do two of them. I'm going to do one there, and one just a little bit higher. We may have to cut that off with the scissors, but that's okay, we can do that. Snip it off. Okay, I'll put my top on my glue there before it starts erupting everywhere. There's one. And two. Very cute. And what I might also do is put a little piece of twine through there and just kind of tie a knot. Or maybe a bow, depending on how it looks. Now, if you don't like a lot of dimension in your journals, then this would probably be more the type of thing that you would want to put on a cover. It'd be really cute on a cover if you did a whole denim covered journal and then put the pocket on there with a little tag in it or something. That'd be cute. I think Barbara at 49 Dragonflies has done a couple of denim journals. And she did the same thing. She went and got, although I think she got adult jeans to use for hers. Let's see if I want a bow. Definitely don't like the bow going that way. Let's see if I can get it to go this way. So if I get it to go this way, I want this one first, I think. I think I've talked to you about my difficulty with bow making before because I'm left-handed. And normally I have to turn everything upside down in order to get an upside right bow. Yeah, that's cute, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to leave it like that. Alright, so let's look at our prompts, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. What do I do with my card? Here we go again. Oh, dangle. I need to do my dangle. It's almost dry. I could have dried it with the heat tool. So these guys are going to go down in the pocket like that. That's really cute, isn't it? So I want what do I want for my dangle? Do I want another? I think I'm going to have just the flower stick up when I put it in the pocket so that you're surprised when you pull this up and these cute little kids are on there. I just love them riding their little mules. I have like a little metal tag, faux metal, that I had made in a previous video. I could do that. I also have another, this is the same concept as the little store ticket, except this is a coin. And it says it is for 1 red point. And I guess things in the store were worth points, and depending on what you bought. Actually, that would work out well because of the red down here. I think I'm going to stamp that. I wonder if that's dry enough for me to put some of this splatter stamp on there. Yeah. Okay. More distress. You can never have too much distress. Another option would be to do both of them. Let's do both of them and see what it looks like. If we don't like it, we can always take it off, right? So I'm going to take this little bitty hole punch and make a hole. Maybe. It's a very small little thing here. Maybe. Thing's pretty thick. A lot thicker than I thought it was. Oh, I can't get it. Let's try it with an awl. I don't think I can get it with an awl either, but we're going to try. It's almost like a press board. It's very stiff. But I guess they had to be for it to be reusable, right? I'm sure they reused them. Okay, I think that'll work. So let's get a ball pen. Where's my ball pens? Way back in the back one. We want to put this one on first. And then we want to put our tag on there. And then we want to put that through there. A price tag. You could also put a price tag on there. That'd be kind of cute. Okay, so now we have a dangle. And let's see how it's going to look in a journal. So here's my journal. Let's see if we can find a page that has kind of a yellow color. Since we've got a lot of yellow going on, or pink. It could be pink. Let's see. Or it could be neutral. Might look cute on this. White. Ooh, it's just barely gonna fit. This is a smaller journal, so this pocket is 4 by about 4.5. So if this was a regular size journal, this would fit without an issue. I feel like it needs to be on this side because of the tab. So the tab's on the outside. Oh, that looks kind of good because of the burlap here and using the twine there. So let's plan on that. And I won't put it all in yet because it's not all the way dry. But yeah, I like it. And like I said, it is going to cause some dimension. Now, one thing that you can do is if you have a piece that you know is going to cause some dimension, save it for here, where your two signatures, or in between however many signatures that you have, because usually you have a pretty good gap here if you have all kinds of little fuzzies in there. You have a pretty good gap there already from where you measured your signatures out. So that's an excellent place to put things that are a little thicker. There, and in the very front where your front cover is, and in the very back. So you can keep that in mind too. Alright, so I think that's where it will end up being when everything gets dry. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, so I have committed myself to doing another challenge for the month of April. I hope you will tune in and watch. And be sure and check out Tony's site and Marga's site. I think Marga said yesterday in her video that Tony is creating playlists on her channel where everybody that is using the hashtag, she's compiling into a playlist. And they also said that it is easier to find people that are participating if you use the hashtag in your title. So be sure and keep that in mind if you're going to post a video for the series. On Instagram, I guess it doesn't matter as much because you don't really have the title there. You just leave the caption. But on YouTube, I guess it's easier to find in the search if you put it in the title. So, thanks for joining me, and I will be back soon we're going to start the Junk Journal Madness journal for the month of April. So, I'll see you soon. Bye.